Hello and welcome. Eric Kadenge here from Change Media. And today I'd like to talk about video production, which is one of the ways through which we produce content. And in today's episode specifically, I will be looking at the production process. There are three production stages in content creation, be it audio or video. And in video, for example, we start with what we call the pre-production process. Pre-production process is everything that you get to do for you to prepare yourself for the next stage, which is the actual production. Pre-production involves things like coming up with an idea of what you want to produce. Of course, you have to have in mind who your audience is and so on and so forth. But the main issue is you need to come up with an idea. Depending on whether you are alone or whether you're working with a team of people, the other thing that you could do with this idea is then to brainstorm around it and to see what is the best way to execute the production of that idea or of that content. So brainstorming will then help you to look at the various angles around the issue, how feasible it is to do it, whether you have the resources to do it, and so on and so forth. With the bottom line being to get to know how best you can execute the idea. The other thing that you get to do then in pre-production is to put your idea on paper in the form of a script. It depends on what you're doing. You may require a script, or you may require a storyboard, which is still a visual representation of the production that you want to do. And that helps to also let anybody that would come across that script to produce the same content. It doesn't have to be you. It could be any other person. Just in much the same way that we have scripts for other things. For example, you have a plan for a building. Anybody should be able to build that house as long as they get the plan. So that's pre-production. You come up with the idea, you talk about it with other people, you put it in writing. Then beyond that, you start deciding what are the requirements that you need to execute your idea, which now is in a script form. In terms of requirements, you will need to look at how many actors you need or how many people you need to talk to if you're talking about interviews. You will need to know what kind of equipment you need to get that production done. You will need to think about what kind of locations you will need as well. All that needs to be put on paper as well as part of your pre-production preparations. And lastly, of course, you need to come up with a budget for the production. Get to know how much it will cost you to hire a camera, for example. Get to know how much it will cost you to hire a studio. If you're doing everything by yourself, get to know how much it will cost you to do what you intend to do. Everything from phone call money to lunch and so on and so forth. So you put that in your budget. And of course, I'm talking about small productions for those who are just starting with content production. Otherwise, other bigger productions have huge budgets. The second stage in video production is the production itself. And here there really isn't too much to talk about. This is the stage where you actually hit the road and start the actual recording process. Following everything that you have indicated on your script, you then get down to start the actual production. Of course, being a creative affair, the whole production process, it is possible that you may come up with other ideas along the way. So you need to allow for room for flexibility. But having said that, you still need to have a document that helps you to know what you're doing, and that is the script. The third stage in video production is what we call post-production. And this happens after you have done all the collection of the material or the footage that you need for your production work. A lot of times this only involves a few people, probably the editor and the director, but other people may also be involved in the post-production process. And editing plays a big role in post-production. What is editing? It is cutting away of unwanted material from your footage. It is adding music, text, and so on into your footage. It also includes other things like correcting the color of your video, or what we call color grading, as well as making other adjustments to your video, be it exposure and so on and so forth. So the whole process of post-production is to edit your work and to make it look more presentable and appealing to your audience. Once you're happy with your first, second, and third rough cuts of your video, you then master or come up with the final video for yourself or for your client, and then you convert it into whatever format that you need, and decide where you're going to disseminate it. In post-production, you will also need to sort of package your work so that it is presentable, and that is what we call branding. Make your work presentable, brand it as best as you can, and then promote it as best as you can. In today's digital age, there are various multimedia platforms where you can showcase your work. So depending on what platform you are using, you can then convert your work into the appropriate format for that particular outlet. This video, for example, is for me to put here on YouTube. So I did what I needed to do to get it ready for YouTube. And those, in a nutshell, are the 3 stages of video production. If you have any questions or comments or any other topic that you'd like me to discuss in this area, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching.